Welcome, everybody, to the Nobody's Podcast.
What is up, everybody?
That's Keelan there.
YouTube.
And I'm Brett. And this is episode 4. So it's been about 5 weeks now since we started.
I can't believe we made it this far.
Whoa!
It's a huge milestone.
Yeah, it seems kind of weird because it doesn't seem like... It seems like we've been doing it a lot longer to me, but I think it's just because, like, we missed 1 week, and now we're kind of off a weird schedule, so now it's like we're just doing it whenever we have time.
Well, it looped a week, so it was like kind of like half a week that we missed. But I wouldn't say, like, obviously we haven't been doing it for a long time, but it feels kind of like, not like hard like a diet, but it feels like a diet where you're like, I feel like I've been doing it forever. It's only been a month.
Yeah.
But
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm always like,
so far.
I'm like, when's the next one?
We've been doing it, and we're doing it on Thursday now, just how we usually do it.
Yep.
I like Thursdays. Thursdays are probably my favorite non-weekend day. Is that what you'd call it? Weekend day?
Is your favorite weekday?
There's a weekday. Yeah, I guess you would say
it's just a
favorite weekday.
It's my favorite non-weekend day. Whoa, we just came up with a word for it.
Yep.
I'm kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Because Fridays, Saturday, and Sunday is when I have to work, so I'm like, I gotta go to work.
You've been pretty busy lately. You're on the move.
Yep.
You're moving.
Yep, I hate moving.
I do too.
Like, especially like when you just live somewhere for a year, because you spend so much time like putting shit up and doing this and that, and then it's like, well, we're moving somewhere else. I'm like, fucking cool, because now I gotta pull everything down.
Well, you have a huge action figure collection, and that's gotta be a pain in the ass to move around.
I mean, I started like earlier in the week, and it's not like
that's what I'm saying is that you have to start like.
Well, I mean, like
weeks ahead of time.
I mean, I could do it all in one day if I wanted to, but it's just like I just do it whenever I'm not doing something with my kid or.
How's that work? Do you care about like? Do you have to like wrap them in newspaper, or do you just throw them in a box?
No. So what I do is I put every figure in a Ziploc bag. So every figure that's on my shelf and is toted up is in a Ziploc bag.
How much does that cost in Ziplocs? I mean, you have a lot. That's gotta be like.
I probably go through like a couple
Ziplocs
like,
come in, like
sandwich
packs.
Like a sandwich pack comes with 90. That's like $4. And I probably have like, I'd say probably like, well, I don't know, it's hard to say, but yeah, I had to buy, like I had more, and I don't know where some of them went, so either I just got more shit in between the times I moved or something, but I had to go buy more sandwich bag Ziplocs for my smaller ones, and now I gotta go buy the big bags for my bigger guys. Because I don't know where they're at, so I don't know if they're at my parents' house or something, but I have to...
Like that fucking... What's that one figure you got? The biggest one? That's...
Galactus?
Galactus. That big-ass...
Yeah, when
Dieter guy.
When I move him, like, I don't pack him up. I just grab him and go.
Yeah, he's like a box itself.
Like, somebody literally either has to hold him while we drive... Or like I put him in the seat and I buckle him up. So
he really is like a baby, really.
Pretty much.
Baby sized.
Yeah, pretty much. But I have like I do that. So I have a Sentinel, Galactus. I have Godzilla and an Alien Queen. I don't have boxes for them, so I have to like carry them with me. And like I could put them in the thing, and I don't think it'd be any problem. But I don't do it because they'll take up a lot more space in the totes, and then I'd have to have more totes.
It's a little family.
Yeah, but I hate having to put all my figures in the totes because like I never know what's gonna happen. I try to do it uniform, so like they're kind of like zigzagged and how they're laying. Like once they're like head to toe in the thing, but I don't like putting them in there because if something lays weird, it might warp one of their arms or legs or something. So then when I pull them out, they're all like twisted out of shape, and I'm like, fuck. So that's really the big thing that I hate about packing them. But
Do you have like favorites that you're like, this one's going in the rare box so it doesn't get damaged, or they get extra padding?
there's some that I'm putting at the top just because like something like because I feel like they might be a little more fragile.
If your place was on fire, what's the one action figure you'd go to grab?
You know, I'm pretty sure I've told you this, but I feel like if there was I feel like that if there was ever a fire and my toys were gonna get destroyed, I'm just going with it. I'm going with the fire.
Oh, you're going with it.
Yeah, like
you're just gonna die.
Because like
no, you have to like. You're not even.
If I had to pick one,
say like,
I don't know.
This is an obscure scenario, but say like there's like a drone that's just like, pick Brett now. I will not die. That kind of shit.
What?
So you're not even there, so there's no risk to you. You might as well pick one if you're gonna have one action figure. Don't you want to have like that one? You can have one action figure left, and someone's like, "Oh, you just got one," and it's like, "Yeah, that's how I remember the rest of my fallen action figures," because you have literal shelves of action figures. So you can at least have one to be like, "Yeah, the rest of them burned down," but that's my like, hurrah.
I don't have like one particular figure that I would say I like. I mean, obviously there's obviously I have bad figures, and the only reason I have them is because of the character or something.
Or maybe even one that's gonna like be a lot of money someday or something. A rare one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if I had to pick like one figure that I had to say was my favorite, that'd be kind of hard because I don't really have like.
That's weird that you can't come up with one.
I mean, I have a few that I'm like, oh, this is definitely like one of my favorites. Like I would regard it as like higher on the list, but when it came to like having to pick one, I don't really know. I've never like. So there is I have this Broly figure, and there's this like Kamen Rider character I have, and they're both pretty cool. I just thought they were really cool because like Broly's kind of like one of the cooler DBZ characters, and he's just a really cool toy because he's like huge. And then the Kamen Rider, the only reason I have it is because he's like a bat character, so he has like he's got like a bat design, and he's got like a cool looking like posable cape and stuff. But yeah, other than that, I mean,
like there's not one action figure that they got it so right that you're like, damn, that's a good action figure. Because I mean, from your reviews, it seems like every action figure at least has one thing wrong with it. But was there ever like a perfect action figure that you got? You're like, there's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
there's always something wrong with it.
I mean, obviously when you get action figures, it's like, I mean, especially for the price point. So like some of them, they're a lot more expensive than the others. Like Marvel Legends, which is like the main stuff that I collect.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are like $20, and they're not like anything great. I mean, they're known for like good sculpts and articulation, but sometimes it's like they just reuse shit. So then it's like there's nothing special about it. And then like you get into the ones like the Dragon Ball figures I have. Those things are like they can range from like $50 to $100, if not more. And then what's like my most expensive figure? I think like the one I paid most for. I know I paid like. Oh well, I guess some of the other imports I have. There's like some other ones I paid like over $100 for, but I don't think that they're like the best. It's just that they were cool, and I thought they were like cool designs and stuff. So that's kind of why I picked them up. But yeah, I mean, when I look at a figure, it's like what makes it good is if the articulation's good, because that's what I really care about. Like a lot of people, some people like just those Funko Pop things.
Mm-hmm.
And some people like old Star Wars toys and stuff. But me, I like my guys to be able to do like anything. that I want.
Maneuver.
Yeah, which I mean, when you get into the imports, you can do that a lot better because those ones have like insane joints that
Yeah,
you
well,
can
you
do.
even got as far as to like paint. You do like custom jobs on them. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, every once in a while, it just kind of depends. Like, and a lot of times I just get it from other people. Like, I'll see what they did, and I'm like, oh, I'll try that out because that seems like a cool thing. The only thing that's like kind of my own design, which isn't anything special, but I made like a custom Winter Soldier where he's in his like Captain America uniform, but his arm's exposed, so you can see his robot arm. And then he's got like a flak jacket on, or like a body armor and stuff on. It's pretty cool. But and then I made a custom Ghost Rider bike with hot glue and paint.
How do you do? Like you just made it, or is it just
like I had bought just like a 1/12 scale chopper.
Yeah.
It was just a motorcycle, and I had painted it black, and then I took the hot glue, and you just fucking like run it down the wheels and stuff, and then you just keep making layers of it, and you kind of like mess with it with like a toothpick to kind of tease the flames.
It's just like just gluing over it. Oh, so like the glue was the flame.
Yeah, and then you paint it, which I mean, like. They ended up making the Ghost Rider bike later on, but I was like, I made my own and it looks kind of cooler. So
yeah, that's a fun thing to do.
I mean, the flames, I was like, it kind of just looks like the flames are doing whatever, but it doesn't look like how a traditional toy flame kind of thing would look.
Well, now you're moving into a house.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yeah, pretty excited. About that? It's going to be a lot more expensive. That's the only thing I don't like about it, but... It'll be worth it because now I'll have like 3 rooms instead of 2. It'll be a lot more space.
Yeah, I bet.
So,
a big backyard.
It is. I have a pretty big backyard.
You can have some cookouts.
Gotta give me a grill. I got a mow now. That's kind of the thing I don't want.
Do you even have a mower?
No.
I mean, there's no point if you're in an apartment. But
I mean, like right now would probably be the best time because people are gonna start.
It is a pretty big pain in the ass, but I mean, like, if you're buying it, I feel like it's a lot more worth it than, like, because I'm renting, but I'm still mowing, so I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I just want it to be cut, but I don't need to make sure the grass looks nice or anything. The grass looks like shit. There's, like, what do you call them?
Stickers?
No, there's stickers
Weeds.
And there's
moles.
Groundhogs. Yeah, moles going.
Do you really?
Going in and out. Yeah, that's what all those dirt things are.
Oh.
And like, Lady, my dog, has been trying to chase them down and dig in the holes, but that's why there's like those. The only time she digs is whenever there's already a digging hole there from one of the moles that she's trying to catch. But so like whenever I'm mowing, there's just like a dirt pile that I don't see, so then like my blades just catch on to like the fucking dirt, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I think it feels like you're like mowing over like a creature, but it's just dust just flies everywhere, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not too concerned about my yard.
It's kind of strange. Like, where did moles and them come from? Like, were they just wandering on the surface and they found a nice place to plant?
I have no idea, and then I don't know how. Like, I know how you can get rid of them and shit, but, like, I don't know how they even survive just being in my backyard. Like, doesn't make sense. They're just chilling.
I don't know.
They're underneath the trampoline. Scary.
I'd like to keep my yard. I want to keep my yard looking nice.
You should, because you'll regret it after a while once, like, your grass is dead, and it's like you have to spend more money to do shit. But I don't get the whole... Like, people every year will fucking plant new grass. So they'll kill their grass and then plant new. I'm not sure if it's like every year, but there's like a time to do it. And I'm like, damn, that sounds like a pain in the ass just to have nice green grass. You can just...
I'd be cool.
Let it die.
I'd be cool just having a house that was like, instead of grass, it was all just concrete. So you could have like either a big ass parking space, or you could make a fucking basketball court.
I used to tell my mom that when I was a kid, because I didn't want to mow the lawn. I was like, why don't we just put concrete over it, or like rocks? Because that's what my sister has right now. Not concrete. Like she still has a front yard, but she's in a duplex, so her backyard's just like a tiny triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just made like a rock bed that fills most of it, and then like a garden and no grass.
Does she own this duplex?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's weird. I didn't know you can actually.
I think so.
Own it. Like
I'm not certain, but it's pretty cool. It's like 2-story, so it's like or 3-story. It's got a basement and a.
Wait. So is it? It's connected to another house?
It's connected to another house,
Okay.
but it almost like feels like it's just a house that is connected to another one. I never understood why duplexes even like came about. You're like, I want to share a house with somebody. Like, just split it down the middle and then make it cheaper.
Pretty much.
It's weird.
Like one of the houses I looked at was a duplex, I guess, and this was like
I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to stand just like, it's like an apartment living, but you're only worried about pissing off one other person, like the other people.
Yeah.
And that worries me because you're always like in an apartment, you're like, I'm just going to piss off everybody. But that one's like, they can literally just come over and know who it is that's making the noise. But
I mean, that is true, but I don't know. I don't feel like it could be too big a problem. I'm sure like the way they have it set, it's like the living room or wherever you're having like a lot of noise at probably wouldn't affect the people on that side or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of the downfall of like apartments can't be loud or anything. And like that, like I said, the house I looked at, it was a duplex, and they renovated it to make it like one big house, and it just looked fucking stupid because you had
so is it just like a door connecting the two, or did they take the walls down? Because then there'd be like one room that like looks like a kitchen, but then they just took it out.
I think they just took a wall out, but then they made a door there, so it's just like an opening. So now there's like 2 like tiny ass little living rooms.
It's connected by like a big door.
So like there's like a kitchen, and then there was like the living room.
Not 2 kitchens though.
No, they.
I wonder if they kept all the piping so you have like a shit ton of bathrooms.
I think they made a bathroom is what they did.
Oh, they made another one?
Yeah. It was kind of funky how it was set up, and we were like, nah. The guy was going to take care of like, I think all the shit though. Like he was going to take care of like water and trash and stuff. And I was like, well, I can kind of see why, because this place looks like garbage, but no thanks.
Yeah, if you're buying it, you got to make sure that house is like clicks.
Oh, and there was like fucking. I saw at least like 5 spiders while I was in there, and one of them was in the kitchen, like on the.
Was the guy even
cabinets.
trying to like the guy who was renovating it or selling it? Was he even trying?
Usually he was nice, but I mean,
I walk in there and usually
like that was definitely something for somebody that was like lower standards.
Yeah,
and like
you could still make it like presentable if you're trying to sell it.
I mean, well, he's not trying to sell it; he's just trying to rent it.
Oh, okay, that was the rent.
But yeah, I saw a fucking huge spider in the kitchen. That was like probably that. It was pretty big. Blech. And it was just chilling up in the corner.
Yeah, I've been getting.
And I was like, well, I don't want to live where there's spiders infested.
I'm terrified of spiders, but recently I've seen so many that like I'm starting to get numb to the. When I'm cleaning windows, I'll drag my mop, and then like some of them haven't been cleaned in so long that like their window frames are just spider webs. So I'm like dragging my mop across it, and then like 5 spiders like fall out onto the mop, and there's been so many that just like start crawling up my hand.
See, that's when I'm like, nope.
It's just a part of my job to where I'm like now I'm getting numb to my spider scariness, but it's still like
my spider scariness.
If I know that they're gonna pop out somewhere, I'm not that afraid. But like if they're in my house, that's when I freak out because I'm like, there's more somewhere. I'm gonna get another jump scare. Because there's been so many times, like I was scarred as a kid, just so many times. Because I lived in the basement, and
that's the worst.
They're like on my shoulder. There was one time there was one on my shoulder, and I like looked over to the right, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
And he goes like, "Well, howdy do?"
How do you do? And I'm
like a Madagascar. Well, no, that happened to me too. One time, I came upstairs for breakfast before I went to school. I'm just sitting there eating my Fruity Pebbles, and I feel this tickle on the back of my neck. I'm like, what the fuck? So I went to itch it, and I feel this lump. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? So I grabbed it, and I looked, and it's going like, I was like, what the fuck? I stood up and like slammed it on the table, and it was like a Monday morning, so I took the Sunday paper. I was like, bitch,
yeah.
fucking.
That's the worst. Whenever you're like, you feel something on the back that kind of tickled you, or like mostly it's like on the back of your neck, and you're like,
well, that's how it feels.
You go to it to like scratch it or whatever it is, and then you can feel it running more, and then you're just like, you made it start running, and you're just like, oh fuck, I know it's you. I know.
Dude, it's like that's what they feel like when they crawl on you. It just feels like a weird tickle.
Yeah, like
and
a piece of cotton's getting dragged or something.
Fucking this is more recently. I don't know. It was like more recently. I freak out more because of the spiders, but it's because they just pop up out of nowhere. I was in my bathroom doing some laundry, and I picked a piece of clothing off the floor, and it must have been right there because he started like climbing up my hand. I was like literally yelled as loud as I was like, what the fuck? And my kid was sitting right there. I scared him because I yelled so loud, but I was like, what the fuck? And I slammed it down. I'm sure the people in the other apartments were like, whoa, what the hell's going on?
And if it's with laundry, then like the spider's just lost.
Yeah.
Lost in the pile.
There was like another time I think that happened. And I yelled like super loud, like, fuck. It's funny. Like I laugh afterwards because it's so absurd, but like when they get on me, that's when I lose my shit.
I'm fine with a majority of other just like insects, like not in my house, but like flies are annoying, but that's fine. Like you see them so much that you're like, that's a fly.
I got a real bad problem right now with these like tiny little motherfuckers. I don't know what they are.
Gnats or
I don't know. I don't know what they are, but they're pissing me off, and I don't know where they're coming from. But it's like every time I go to my sink and start running some water, I see like 4 of them fly off. I open my trash can, they're chilling.
Are they on your mirror?
On my mirror?
Like in your bathroom?
Huh. They just like, they're chilling. And I'm like, I don't know where they're fucking coming from. I've never had the problem before, so I don't know what's the deal.
Huh.
So I'm like,
because there was someone that I work with that was like, yeah, I have like these little flies that they don't really look like flies, but they're almost like big gnats. And he just like woke up, went to the bathroom, and they were all over the mirror.
Huh.
And they were like, why are they attached to the mirror and stuff? But
yeah, I don't know.
Really
like
weird.
We think they're like some kind of water insect or like a water-based like little fly thing, but
it's a water-based Pokemon.
Yeah, so sometimes I go on a massacre, I just see them. Like whenever I physically see one, I try to fucking kill it.
Yeah. But
it's just like there's just more. There's always more.
I think the best feeling is like flicking an insect, just so you know it dies on impact from the flick. If there's ever a mosquito on there, it's like.
I think the most satisfying feeling is like when you catch a fly in midair. So you're like.
I've only done that like a couple times, but it's just. That was because I was so bored at the Goddard pool when I worked there. We'd just be in the shack all day, and we had like a fly problem. We had all those like little tapes, like where you dangle like tapes that put flies into it. We put one up, and at the end of the day, it would just be like no more flies are sticking to it because all the flies are already like taking up the grip tape, and it was fucking disgusting. So you could literally like swat your hand and possibly catch a fly. But
well, I was doing the pro way and just singling one out as it was out in the open. I'm just I'm tracing.
Like were you meant to do it?
Not like, I'm just gonna run my hand through a swarm and see how many I grab at once.
You'd be surprised. Like one is all I got from like a swarm of flies. But
because like I could imagine like grabbing one, it's kind of surprising because I'll grab them.
Yeah,
I can grab them and somehow like I don't crush it. Yeah. But I could only imagine if I went through and grabbed like a handful, I would like have like guts all
there was we got one of those like tennis racket electric buzzers.
I got one of those.
And since we had like swarms of flies, you just like swat through it and you hear like it just electrocute all of them.
I had one of those one time and I would sit there and like smack myself with it to get it to shock me. I'm like, wonder how this works. And I was like smacking my hand and finally like was like it didn't hurt, but yeah. I don't ever know if I actually ever killed one with those. Well, or maybe I feel like I did, and it fucking like kept setting the thing off, so this fly was just chilling on it, going like. Mm-hmm. I know that shit happens with those ones at Dillon's. They have like big lights like that, and sometimes fucking moths would get in there, and you just like watch the moth burn away like Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I hate
you. I hate you. Have you ever seen where they translate it in like Japanese and then they put it back into English or something? Or because it still is like a Japanese robot lady. So she's like, I hate that dude. Like, it's so dumb, but it's pretty funny. Did you see Venom yet?
No.
No?
Nobody wanted
so
to
wait. We can't talk.
Nobody wanted to wait for me.
I was going with the flow, man. It was just one of those days where I'm like, everybody's going at this time, so I guess I'll go.
Well, without spoiling, what did you think?
I thought it was good, but I was talking to Megan, I was like, the plot seems like something that I'll forget in like a couple months. Like it was just zip zap boom movie done. Like it gets to the point and explains everything, and you're like, oh, this is fun, this is a cool movie, and then it's over and you're like, oh, it's one of those movies where they spend a lot of time with the creation of the character and like how everything is going. And then like there's kind of like a half-assed villain, and then like they have their encounter at the end and then it's done, but it feels like it should have been more of like the villain doing shit and stuff. But I guess it's, do you know like the story to it or how they did it in the movie? Because I don't want to spoil that either if you don't know about it.
How they did what? Like,
because it's kind
of what the plot is?
Yeah.
No, I know that I haven't really heard any spoilers. I've listened to people talk about it, but something about the symbiotes are trying to do something, but that's about it. So
like how they get to Earth, or
I don't know about that. So
okay,
I want to go see it. I just
it was pretty good. I just felt like the story just slipped by really quick, and it was like, oh, I'll probably, because most of the time if a story's just like lackluster, I'll just be like, oh, what happened in that movie again? I remember it being good, but it was like, I don't remember.
Well, see, I feel like the problem is that they're making a movie without one of the existential characters to that character, because you can't really have
existential or essential. Essential characters.
Well, I don't know.
Spider-Man.
I'm trying to sound smart here. Okay. Anyway,
you said existential, but
is the only existential me?
One of the most essential, one of the most essential characters, but then existential. I've only heard that word whenever someone's saying an existential crisis.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it actually means. So I don't know.
Why don't we just look it up right now? I feel like when you say it like that, it's like saying that that's the most essential.
I'm not even like calling you out. I was more just wondering if that's actually how you say it, because then I've been saying it wrong the whole time. Because I would just say most essential character instead of like existential. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. From what
do you say essential?
Existential crisis. Is that how you say that word? Existential crisis? Because that's the only time I've ever heard it said before crisis. But yeah, I thought
existential concerns with existence, especially human existence, as viewed in theory of existentialism. Yeah, so I was right. Existential, because Spider-Man is existential to Venom.
Okay.
Because without Spider-Man, obviously in the movie they did something to like be like, oh well, you didn't need Spider-Man.
That Spider-Man isn't a part of it, or...
Right. And like you could have Venom without Spider-Man, which obviously they did, but it's just like Spider-Man back in like the 70s or 80s.
My dog's whining. I'm gonna go let her out real quick.
Should I not explain that? Wait?
Keep talking about it.
Okay. All right, I'll explain. So, back during this event called Secret Wars, a bunch of characters went to another planet and were fighting against like Doctor Doom and shit. And I think the biggest thing that came out of that was the fact that Spider-Man got the black suit costume. That's when he got that. And then, so he had the black suit costume, and then later on, he finds out that like it's changing his behavior. It's making him more aggressive and stuff. So he's like, all right, well, I gotta get rid of it. So essentially, like the way Spider-Man 3 played out is pretty much like how the whole thing between Spider-Man and Eddie Brock works, except like he just finds it because it happens to fall in a Central Park with him. But anyways, so like either way, both movies never got it right with Venom, except for how like Eddie gets it, the Spider-Man 3. But so like Eddie Brock is gonna go kill himself, and he's at the church, and Spider-Man's trying to get it off, and then it falls on him. Then he becomes Venom, and then like because Eddie Brock hated Peter Parker and Venom hated Spider-Man, like the two of their hatred like just kind of they worked well together. So then they wanted to destroy Spider-Man, and really like yeah, so like really that's why you need Spider-Man, because it has like, I mean, even though it's like they play him out to be an anti-hero, I mean, he's still an anti-hero in the comics, but he wants to go out and kill Spider-Man just because he thinks Spider-Man's like a bad guy because he casted him out and was like being a shitty friend, I guess. So it's just like Sony's just trying to make all these movies without Spider-Man because for whatever fucking reason they think that we give a shit. But everything I've heard about like the movies they want to produce that without Spider-Man just sound like awful ideas. Because why do I want to watch a movie about fucking one of his villains without Spider-Man?
Or it would actually be pretty cool if there was a movie from the point of view of a villain with the actual hero in it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that'd be a bad idea, but at least it'd have Spider-Man.
You could probably find one that would make sense.
Well, see, like they were wanting to do a Sinister Six movie around the time Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out.
Taskmaster and stuff like that?
No. Sinister Six has Kraven the Hunter, Vulture. Well, it kind of depends, but I think what they were setting up in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was Vulture, Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Kraven, Rhino, I think, and one other person.
Probably. Are you sure Taskmaster isn't in Sinister Six?
Taskmaster? Why are you asking me? Or why are you doubting me?
I don't know.
Sandman, I think, is one of them.
I just saw like
Taskmaster?
I knew that the new Spider-Man game has the Sinister Six, and then I saw Taskmaster in it. And I never even seen him. I just knew him from
Taskmaster. I think it's like a side mission thing.
Oh, I just knew him from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I used him in that game. He was pretty cool.
Yeah,
his outfit, his get-up's pretty tight.
Yeah, he's not part of the Sinister Six.
Oh, gotcha. That's a cool name.
I feel like Electro's. Oh, I think Electro's the other one.
If you're going to be part of a villain group, Sinister Six is definitely a dope name for that. You don't think so?
I don't know.
What would be your villain group, huh?
I don't know.
Come up with something better. You just need like a evil tone thing, and then a number. How many people are in the group?
Well, it's funny.
Like Team 10.
It's funny because there's all these movies that have been coming out recently that they're like Magnificent Seven, Hateful Eight. I think on Netflix there's a movie called Ridiculous Six, and I'm like, what's up with all these fucking weird titles? It's like they're
Isn't one of them like a parody of? Because
maybe that
one of those are
the Ridiculous Six movie, one,
right?
huh? Tarantino's Hateful Eight, and then there's this Magnificent Seven, which is like it's a remake of a Western that's got like Denzel Washington and Chris Pratt. Yeah. And then there's like the Ridiculous Six. I'm like, what are they gonna do? The dynamic duo and the numero uno, fucking the Trinity 3 or something. I had like a whole bunch of names when I was talking about this with my wife. I was like, what the fuck's all these weird numbers? Like, it's just like this and then a number, and it's like they just come up with a thing that kind of rhymes with that letter.
You could just do 10 letters.
Gruesome twosome.
10 letters because 10, I think so. 10 letters spells, or is 10 letters. It's hard to explain that without 10 letters is 10 letters. Like if you say,
what?
If you look at the word 10 and letters combined, they're 10 letters. It's like race car. Backwards, still race car. But 10 letters spelled out is 10 letters. I think. I saw that.
Wait, so if I wrote on a piece of paper or typed it and wrote 10 letters.
Yeah.
And then wrote that backwards, you're saying it's 10 letters?
No, not backwards. The amount of letters will be 10.
Oh, okay. So the number of characters is 10.
Yes, the number of characters.
I'm like, what are you fucking talking
I could not fucking explain that.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
I saw a guy with that gamer tag. He had that as his gamer tag, and I was like, 10 letters. That's a dumb gamer tag. And I'm like, oh shit, there's 10 letters.
And then all of a sudden you hear this, and then you're like, whoa!
Inception struck me in.
Okay. Yeah. It's like 4. 4 is the only number that has the same amount of.
It could be the hardcore
characters.
4. Could be. That's the next one right there.
Hardcore 4. Sounds like a porn.
Hardcore porn.
Hardcore and porn.
Hardcore corn.
Hardcore corn.
Yeah, I don't even know.
So yeah. Anyways,
yeah, Venom. But yeah, that's what we were talking about. Venom.
I was gonna say, but back.
But then we also were watching. You missed the fucking Hellraiser double feature.
Well, it was weird because I thought that was on Monday, and then nobody reminded me of it, and I was like, well,
if you thought it was on Monday,
I still didn't. Even...
Were you not planning on going already?
I think I was busy.
Oh, okay.
I think, or something was going on.
Yeah.
I had I known that it was gonna happen, I could have gone, but we were like, when you guys text me, I was going to get groceries, so then I was like, well, I'm definitely not going now. Mm-hmm. So I was like, fuck.
Those things are always pretty cool when I go, but like the double feature, man.
What time?
If I'm watching 2 movies, we got out like 11 from that.
Oh.
If I'm watching 2 movies,
was it back to back, or was there an intermission?
There's an intermission, like a 15-minute intermission, and I was just like hammering beers the whole time. It was pretty fun.
I would have, man. Like,
but those movies are crazy. I
never seen them.
I watched Hellraiser 2 when I was like 10 or something. And I remember only watching it because I was like, I'm not supposed to be watching this stuff. And it's supposedly gory and all that junk. But I remember it just being like weird because it was like, I didn't know half the shit that was going on because the first one explains a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. But you haven't seen them?
I've seen like just clips and bits and pieces, but I've never watched it.
They're pretty cool. I didn't think that I would even like it. I don't usually like old horror movies.
But those are the best ones.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Because they're not like, it's just kind of...
What?
Because it's more of like a storyline thing, which is fine. But obviously
since they make movies, they made sequels and stuff? What do you mean? Like it has a good plot?
No, this one has a good plot. That's why I liked it. But I wasn't like scared. Because no old movies... Well, because in the past, everybody's like, that's a scary movie. But obviously as the horror genre evolves, it's not going to be scary anymore. But
I mean, like,
was definitely grotesque, really grotesque, which it was actually pretty cool. Like insane. What's the word for it? There's no CGI. What's the opposite?
Practical effects.
Practical effects.
See, that's what makes that's what makes.
I can understand that why it makes it cool. It makes it look cheesy, but Hellraiser was the first one where I was like, this looks crazy. Like they did it like the right way where it's not cheesy. Or like jump cuts to like people being like, like in a different dealio. But there's like one scene where the whole point of the movie is like there's this box that's like the gate to open up for Pinhead and the other dudes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what's your pleasure? That kind of shit. Where they're like, you're pretty much just opening the box to be tortured. So like that part of the plot to me was like, I don't get this.
Wait, they knew opening the box would torture them?
They're like, most of them are like, I just had to know what would happen or whatever. And then they find out, oh, this is like a portal to hell, and like now I'm just gonna be tortured for eternity.
Well, like there's like a weird thing. I forget what it's called, like sadomasochism,
mm-hmm.
or whatever. It's basically like they derive pleasure from the pain, And that's basically what the whole thing's about.
But like to that extent of the pain, because what happens is, I'll get to that in a little bit, because there's a guy at the beginning. He opens up the box and he is pretty much just like dead in hell, and the box is like still there or something, and he dies in that attic, and like that guy's that guy's wife, the widow, moves on, marries someone else, and then like moves into this house, and pretty much is getting like all these flashbacks of him. And then her husband like cuts himself and like drips blood on the floor of the attic. So like apparently there's like a organism underneath the floorboards of that attic, and the blood fueled like something that poured onto the floor, fueled him. So you can see like a heart and like organisms like starting to grow underneath the floorboard. And then like by the end of that scene, like hands are like busting out of the floor, and like they're crawling out, like a skeleton's crawling out, but you can see like the skeleton forming and like flesh start to strap onto it. And it looks really cool because you can tell like they did everything like reversed of like taking it off. So they like rewinded it while moving things forward.
Yeah.
And I was like, that took a lot of fucking time to do. I guarantee it.
Probably.
But
it's really funny.
He's like, don't look at me. Like, I'm trying to avoid them. But like, if it was a pleasurable thing or something, why would he not want to just go back and stay there?
I don't know. That's just what I heard.
You don't even know how he escaped. He just like ran away or something, and it was like an organism hiding in the attic.
He's like just a fleshless dude, isn't he? He has no skin.
The whole objective of it is like that lady, his wife. He tells her to go out and like take dudes home, and then she kills them, and then he like eats them or something, and like takes their blood and stuff, and so that he can get more flesh on him. But you can never actually get all your flesh, so then they like kill the husband and take his flesh. So he's got like
when you say flesh.
He's got like a sewn on like body, and it looks all weird and shit. But I thought that concept was cool. Like, it was a cool concept. And they even carried it on with, like, some of the same characters from the first one to the second one. I just thought it was interesting. Because usually it's old horror movies are like, oh, this is supposed to be scary, and the story's not that interesting.
At the time, it probably was.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I mean, like, no
I can never
movie.
bring myself back to be like, I can appreciate it, but I'm not going to be like, lie to myself and be like, this is what it's all about. This is horror at its best. Because for me, it's not.
I don't know. Because you like all that shitty new horror.
Some, like,
Annabelle.
If it's going to be scary.
The darkest chapter in the Conjuring universe.
For some reason, I don't get that same. Because I know my opinion is like a scrubby opinion of like horror movies. I know that because everybody's like, horror films are just jump scares nowadays, that kind of stuff. But how else am I supposed to like get scared if something else isn't gonna scare me? Like, that's the only thing that's gonna be like, I like the feeling of a constant like, oh, something's gonna be loud as shit.
I think scary movies only work when you're a child. Because you don't understand that it's not real.
Oh, yeah. The dumbest shit was scary to me as a kid. Fucking like, Signs scarred me for like...
I was like fucking terrified of the dark until I was probably like 13. Yeah, no, I think I was like 15. I think it was like 15, and then I finally just stopped being like
Still
it's cool.
Still at 15?
Well, no, I think I don't know, man.
I mean, like, everybody gets that. Or, I mean, when I was 15, I was still like... not afraid of the dark, but if I turned off the lights in the basement, I'd still run upstairs.
Yeah, like I don't know, like,
or whenever you can't turn on, you have to turn on the lights to the downstairs, but you're walking downstairs and it's pitch black, and you're like, that looks really sketchy for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I just never liked sleeping down in the basement. And I definitely when I lived out in Goddard, like, I didn't like living in the basement, and like I was scared of the dark. I don't know. I just could never get over the thing. And if I watched anything scary, I always thought that I was like that thing was gonna come get me. Like, I remember when Rings came out, or no, not The Ring, The Grudge. I remember The Grudge came out, and I was afraid that fucking bitch was gonna come out from the side of my bed, which is up against the wall. Like, I just thought that she was gonna, like, come out of the side of my bed and fucking get me. And, like, I watched that movie, or I saw parts of the movie. I don't think I watched the whole thing. But, like, I just remember that night, I was, like, freaked out because I kept seeing I saw this, like, shadow. It wasn't even, like, I didn't know what it was, but it was just, like, this shadow on the wall. And it just, like, was like a kind of a thick line going up the wall. I was like, what the fuck? And like, I don't know. I think it was like 15. I just kind of got over it. I was like, it's not real. And if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I was like, that was basically the moment I was like, I ain't afraid of death.
Fuck it. Oh, yeah, right.
I was like, I ain't afraid of nothing.
I'm not afraid of death, but I'm afraid of how you die.
I'm not afraid of dying.
Because what if it's just like, oh, I'm not afraid of death, but someone might torture you for like 5 months before you actually die. What about that?
That'd be pretty bad.
Then you'll be afraid of death.
No, I'd want to die at that point. Fuck, exactly. 5 months? Well, I would just want them to kill me.
You wouldn't be afraid of death, but I'm still saying, like, a part of dying is, like, just the way that you die. Like, I can be afraid of that. Because it could take a while. What if you get in a car accident and you're, like, bleeding out and you're like, blah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say the worst way I can think of is, like, drowning. But I mean, like, any way is going to suck if you're suffering.
I honestly feel like...
if it's just quick and easy, cool. If it's like I'm going to, like, drown, or if I'm sitting around on fire...
like, old age or, like, on a deathbed, that also is kind of weird to, like, just think about, like, you're slowly dying.
I mean, I think the best way for anybody is just, like, going in your sleep. You're just asleep, it's darkness, and then whatever happens after.
Dude, have you ever seen... There's, like, a video... Because now more places are, like, allowing assisted suicide stuff. Mm-hmm. Where they're like, I've had enough of life. Because they're, like, older people who are like, I'm not really living life anymore, so might as well just die now.
Right.
And there was, like, a video in this documentary that I watched that was, like, they, like, gave it to him. And they were documenting it because he wanted people to know about, like, assisted suicide is not, like, a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And it was fucking weird because his wife was still there. Like, his wife was there. And because that's what I was thinking about. I was like, you got your wife still there. You could, like, maybe just hang out. But I guess he just wasn't enjoying it too much. But he, like, took this pretty much like a poison, but it's supposed to, like, just make you kind of fall asleep, but you're also, like, your organs are shutting down. So you're, like, blah, 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 like still, like struggling through it. And, like, people are just in this room filming it. He's just, like, dying. And I'm like,
where'd you see this?
It was, what the fuck was it on? It wasn't Live Leaks. Obviously, it was, like, a dark dealio, but I'm pretty sure I saw it on Reddit. Uh-huh. But I think it was on YouTube, but I
feel like that would not.
I don't think that that's what makes me think, like, maybe it's just fake. But if it's, like, documentary style, can't you show people dying?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that they should have assisted suicide because it's like... If you're, let's say you're having cancer and you're at the point where you can't do it, like, why suffer through it? You should have the choice to put yourself out. Or, like,
I think that would give you, like, a sense of, like, your last, like, hoorah, being like, I'm taking myself
like,
out,
I'm
not
beating
this
shit. Yeah. And then, like, people that, genuinely just want to kill themselves, I mean... I think there should be... I
don't think that should be, like, a thing.
Well, I mean, here's what I think.
You gotta be at a certain age. You gotta be old. Like, you can't be...
I'm sure, if this was the thing, I'm sure it'd be, like, 21 or older.
Well, yeah, but still, if you're, like, 21...
I know, that's pretty young.
You go in there, that's pretty messed
here's
up
what they could do.
Like,
here's what they could do, though, is, like, you go into, like, a designated clinic, and, like, what these people can do is they can try and give you some help, and then, just kind of see if that works.
That's what the thing was saying, like... He had, like... The guy who did this, he had, like, a year or two of, like, people checking in on him. Of, like, all right, you still want to do this. Answer these questions. Like, if you can understand what you're agreeing to and stuff like that. And they were, like... They, like, research his life for, like, a year to decide, like, okay, he really doesn't want to live. But I feel like if it's at that age where, like, you're not dying, nothing's wrong with you, like, I don't think that should be an assisted suicide thing, because that's just, like, messed up, in my opinion. I can't formulate an opinion on why it's messed up, but it just seems like...
Well, I mean, it's a very complicated subject, but I mean, like, people are going to do it, regardless. They might as well go somewhere where it's like it's a safe environment, like they just take a thing and there's no mess or nothing, like there's no like huge criminal investigation going on with it. It's like they willingly are like, hey, look, like nothing's working, I've done this, I've done that, blah blah blah, like I just can't go on, or they're sick and they just don't want to deal with the pain or something. I mean, I feel like the only reason I took a whole class basically on this, it was like, I don't quite remember.
Suicide 101.
Well, no, it was just a topic, but it was like, I don't remember what the class was. What the fuck was it about? It was like an ethics class, I think, or something, and basically just we talked about old people all the time. I'd have to look that up and look. I don't remember what that class was. Yeah, but like we talked about like, oh, is it ethical for assisted suicide? Is it ethical to have old people live in fucking retirement homes? And like, should we get rid of old people and stuff like that? Should we let them live to a certain age? Blah blah blah.
Like
or should they have
a certain age?
Should they have like fucking Social Security or something like that?
Yeah,
stuff like that. It was like what do you think about this? Like, what would you do?
Yeah.
But
I don't know why I can't get myself to like feel comfortable about like assisted suicide, just if you're not dying or something like that. But I could wrap my head around like legalizing all drugs, and just so it gives you, because I feel like that makes sense to me.
Legalizing drugs,
just everything, all drugs. Because so I can explain that one really quick. Of you're not giving money to the black market anymore, so you're cutting off all other crime wrapped around it by just selling it yourself. People who say like do like really bad drugs like heroin or anything like that will at least have a cleaner place of doing it, or clean needles.
Yeah, because
they're gonna do it.
There's
anyway.
places really that are designated for that.
Yeah,
kind of like
they don't. I'm not sure if they have them in America, but I remember watching a documentary of where like heroin's not like legal. I'm not sure if it was like Sweden or something like that, but
I think it was.
They had.
I don't know. I don't remember where I saw it, but I think I know.
Yeah, because there was a documentary of somewhere where like the heroin epidemic was like so insane, but like they have tried to counter it with like letting people just go into this place and like just have heroin, and it's like a safe room to do it in, clean needles, and then they're like, okay, I did some heroin, and then you keep going on with your day. But like, damn, that documentary was crazy. I forgot what it was called, but there was like a, do you know what I'm talking about? Because they were following this lady, and she's walking through this alleyway, and then she like drops, or this other lady drops, and she like is having withdrawals from heroin, and like they're like, she needs a needle like to her jugular, like she straight up like just like stabbed the heroin needle and stuck it into her neck because she needed like heroin so bad that she was gonna die because she was having such severe withdrawals. I'm like, man, this.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. I don't remember where I saw this. I just saw something. Maybe it was in this class. Maybe it was that class.
Ethics for like legalizing drugs.
It was at WCU. I think it was like my first or second semester.
I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna get it from somebody, you're gonna just don't let it be from like a dealer or something, because then it's just going to keep fueling all the crime that's revolved around just drugs in general.
Right. Like,
if you can take control of that market, then there's no black market. It's just the government.
Well, see, like, here's the thing. The only reason I feel like it hasn't happened is because we have people in office or whoever that are like, either it's a moral thing or it's a religious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the religious people will be like, wow, God wouldn't constitute this shit and stuff. And like, but that's really the only way. And like, everybody's going on this opioid epidemic right now. But the reason there's an opioid epidemic is because they're just letting doctors fucking subscribe you Xanax for a fucking cold. And you're like, what the fuck? So then you get like
medicine. Yeah.
I know somebody that's, kind of, they don't have like it's not a drug problem, but like they take a lot of pain medicine because they have a lot of medical problems, so they're like strung out on fucking all sorts of shit. And like the thing that I think she says she likes using the most is weed.
Yeah.
But it's not legal here, so like she can't get it. And I think she was getting like hemp oil or something, and like I think she was getting it from a drug dealer, but she was getting it from somebody, and she said that like a week later or something, the guy it was all shut down or something like that. So, yeah, like, and the problem is like she can't, like I said, she can't do it because it's illegal, but she also works. She has like a government job, but so she can't do it on that either. And the only reason she's okay to take the stuff she gets from the doctors is because it's a prescription. So the real problem is the doctors are prescribing shit that like weed could probably just fix, but everybody's so like hopped up on fucking stupid pills that they're like, oh, weed's the fucking devil's lettuce. But
marijuana.
Yeah, I agree. I think
he's got a H3.
Huh?
He's got a new like reaction video, but it's like old style, where the Gila's filming from the side of the computer.
Did not see it.
Yeah, I just thought that was cool to bring up because it was like super nostalgic feels of just like him at the side of the computer, and that's what I told you. I was like, he just needs to do that.
Yeah,
and it'll bring back that nostalgia.
We'll watch that later.
Okay,
but I like this conversation that we're having right now because
anyone.
And I mean, like, you would agree, like, I used to be hardcore against, like, weed and drugs. I mean, I don't agree with anybody doing, like, fucking cocaine and shit, because that's just not good. But I don't see any reason to do that shit. Marijuana, though, it's like, I see the benefits of it financially and for health. And now, I mean, that was now how I feel. Before it was like I just was like, oh, I'm depressed and I'm gonna smoke some. But it's like
it's really at this point, anybody who just doesn't get it is either like literally doesn't get it or knows, but they're like, it's gonna affect pharmaceuticals. But that's what we need to do is affect pharmaceuticals.
Well, I mean, it's still like a pharmaceutical thing because the places are legal. They have medical marijuana or like the medical oil and stuff. I just like, it just makes no sense because when you look at like Colorado, like they were out of fucking debt in like the first year, I think they said. I mean, I've seen nothing really bad about legalizing it. So I just don't understand why more people don't get on board with it. But I think it comes down to like a religious and a moral thing. And it's like, it's just fucking stupid. It's like they could be slapped in the face with like the cure for cancer. But if it was like, it was something like weed, let's say, they wouldn't want to do it. And honestly, I want to say, I think there is a cure for cancer, but they'll never release it. I don't think they will.
Well, because now there's a whole business revolved around curing cancer.
You would lose so much money. Either that, or they're gonna make the cure so expensive that like nobody would even be able to get it.
Like a bunch of houses, like if someone gets cancer and you need a cure, you pretty much just have to like put a loan down on like a mansion. About that amount of money.
I would imagine.
I would think you'd probably be in debt to the point where you just won't be able to pay. Like, because think about that. Think about the idea that there may be a cure for cancer that eventually comes out, but it's so expensive that people still won't be able to afford it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Just imagine if they did, like knowing that there's a cure and you can't.
Right, like I think if they did have it, it would just be so expensive.
Yeah,
and I do think that like
maybe they're working on making it cheaper before they like release it. Be like, we need to make this like to where people can have it.
I would find it very hard, and honestly, I would applaud anybody that made the decision. Be like, no, this needs to be affordable for everyone, because that just seems like a really greedy and shitty thing to do. To be like, we have the cure for cancer. But the only people that can afford it is fucking Brad Pitt.
Bull, but like, what if there's like what if it's, I mean, this is all hypothetical, but like, what if there's some like new element that we discover, something like that, that's like the research that's gone into it, the harvesting of this element is like super expensive, like to where you could make like one cure every year. So like for one person. So obviously
So like
they're
they
not
only
gonna
had
tell
enough
people,
resources.
But what if there's like people that are in the high up and like the higher order, and they're like, okay, you can have the cure this year because you got cancer, and they're
So
like,
they're just
this is like a hidden
signaling.
group
They're
of
just giving one people. So the Illuminati.
Totally.
It's literally what you're explaining. It's this group of people that are higher.
I didn't want to say. What's the other word for it?
Oh shit! Get down.
What's the?
I'm just kidding.
That's the sniper saying to my head. What's the other word for the Illuminati? It's like the New World Order. Yeah.
Sure.
That's definitely what it is.
I keep like in the corner of my eye, I see that line,
It's
and I think it's a cat for some reason. I just think there's a cat laying over there because in the corner of my eye, I see the way it's laying.
Mm.
I know what that leads to. It's not a sniper. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like I just feel like there either is a thing and they're never gonna tell anybody, or if they do, it'll be too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I'm right and we just need to start doing shock therapy on people and electrocute it out.
Yeah.
Or electrocute the people.
And kill them so that you can bring them back, and then the cancer's dead. That's what we talk about.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
I need to do some research on it.
We do old people talk, cancer.
And then we sound like old people because we talk
government
about
stuff. No, we always start. I feel like this is the 4th episode. The past 3 ones, we've started off, and we sound like old farts talking about towns, housings. What was the last one?
How does that make us sound old?
No, do we just sound like we're talking about what old people talk about? Which is what brings me to the next Call of Duty segment. So we gotta be hip and cool.
Oh, are you saying that like we always have segments about stuff?
Yeah.
And now we're on the Call of Duty segment.
We're on Call of Duty because it's coming out tonight at 11 p.m. Woo! So I'm not gonna be able to play much of it tonight. But
me either.
The rest of the weekend, I'm gonna be playing that, boy.
My wife was asking, she's like, you want to go out with my grandparents tomorrow night? And I was like, no, it's Call of Duty.
Call of Duty Day. Yeah,
which, thank you, by the way. I wouldn't even be able to play if you didn't give me that.
No problem.
Because I wouldn't have money.
I couldn't, I mean, like, I don't know. The whole point of it is, like, I can play that game, Lone Wolf, for a while, but if it's just gonna, like, it'll just be me and Zach, but it would be better if it was, like, we had the whole... That's why I want Juan to get it too.
Get on it, Juan.
But he ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, I ain't got money.
He's afraid.
I ain't got money.
Well, I can understand if he doesn't have money, but then like I can't get 2 copies because I knew you would play it, but I don't want to get him a copy if he's not gonna play it.
Definitely not. Yeah.
But he plays no PC games. We're calling you out, Juan.
Yeah, I would have just paid myself, but like this whole month, I'm like,
Yeah, I had a big check, and I was like, $60, whatever. I still want it back though.
I'll re-gift
right
it
now.
to you.
Yeah, just re-gift me another copy. I got the fucking.
How about next year? I'll gift you the new one.
You just buy me the next COD.
Assuming I have money.
What if it looks like total garbage?
I mean, the previous ones were kind of garbage.
This one looks good though. I'm excited.
I don't know but it's funny because I don't know what's really any different about it. I think the thing with this game is blackout, and that's kind of.
There's always a thing where I can tell in my first. So if I'm playing the beta, every single COD will be like, I had fun, but I'm not sure if this is going to be a long-lasting one. I always get Call of Duty. I've never not gotten a Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter if it's going to be total dog shit. I'll probably still play it for at least a week, which is all right to me, and then like bring it up every once in a while. But from the way I played the beta this weekend was like, because I maxed out in rank, or at least as high as you could go in the beta. But I can usually tell from me just being like, this is a fun game, and I'm not like stopping playing. Because it brought back like Black Ops 2 when I was in high school. Like I could just play games forever. But lately it's always been like I play a couple games and I'm like, all right, I'm hopping off. Or like I'm too tired to play games. I'm sure you've gotten that feeling before.
I always have that feeling.
Why am I...
Like, I would love nothing more than just have a whole day to, like, jump on and play.
Well, it's like
a
I'm not
bunch of
tired.
games
It's like I'm tired to where, like, focusing on a game. Because I can focus on a TV show. I can walk around, like, cook something. But, like, focusing on a game just seems like I can only do, like, two matches, and then I'm, like, off. So this one to keep me on for, like, literally an entire, like, that whole Saturday I was on. And I was like, this is going to be a good Call of Duty because it's keeping me on it, which sounds like weird. Like, I want to be addicted to a video game.
Are you talking about...
But I want that feeling back of just being like...
Were you playing Blackout or just the multiplayer? Are you talking about the multiplayer?
Blackout, I didn't even, like, really play that much until you guys were on. Multiplayer was, like... Because I keep saying it, but Battle Royale is not necessarily my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the multiplayer, that's what I wanted. I wish whenever they did the Blackout beta that they brought back the multiplayer beta too. So that people could just decide, I'm gonna play multiplayer like so much more than Blackout. But
yeah, I would say like Black Ops has been probably probably out of the entire series next to like Modern Warfare 2.
mm,
Like Black Ops always had like the cool multiplayer. First one is kind of like
yeah. First
when I go back to it, like it was fun at the time, but then when you go back to it, you're like,
oh, I thought that
Black Ops 2, it was like it was a little bit better, but Black Ops 3. Yeah, Black Ops 3 I had a lot of fun with because of the characters. The special character, how they had the special weapons. Yeah, specialists. Because I loved having the arrow chick. Like, she was dope as fuck.
she's on this one though.
Yeah, I know, that's stupid.
I'm sure
So
like some as DLC, like
probably. Like, hey, you know this character you got in the last
Reaper,
game? It's bad.
or Spectre,
$50.
Sparrow. Yeah, she was pretty cool.
Yeah, Sparrow was cool.
She was like crushed, or I forgot the quotes that they say at the end of it. I remember Ruin. He was like, "We could always use Ruin."
Oh, Ruin.
Like, we could always use more boots on the ground, and like Juan would always say that, and it just sounds stupider and stupider every time.
Yeah.
Boots. We need boots on the ground.
Yeah, like Black Ops 3 is probably like my favorite multiplayer next to Modern Warfare 2. And I think it's just because, like, the thing I love the most about the multiplayer is when you're able to just fucking run. Like, I love having, like, Marathon on and Lightweight, because I feel like if you're just always moving, it's harder to die. And when I was
like, you don't need a perk for that. Like, most CODs now are just like, you just don't stop sprinting. You just unlimited sprint. Except for World War II brought back the no unlimited sprint. And then they brought it back because people hated it so much.
Yep.
Of just stopping, but I feel like it definitely brings a certain pace to the game if you stop sprinting, or if you have to have a perk to like sprint longer, which is what COD 4 was and Modern Warfare 2 until you got the pro version.
Yeah,
but you just like sprint longer, but it was like, do you want that? Do you want to choose between that? But I think the reason that Black Ops does, like, since Black Ops 2 did really well was because of the Pick 10. That shit makes it like so much fun, and their like version of like the unlocking camos and their challenges. The shit that ruined COD for me, like a big aspect is like just unlocking things.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like, or guns is a big thing because I always like it whenever they set it up like, okay, you got to this rank, now you have the gun, but now they're like, okay, you got to the rank, but you still have to spend this token on this gun.
Yeah.
And then you unlock tokens by playing more games. And I'm like, why don't you just fucking give me the gun? And then I don't have to spend tokens on like attachments and shit. I could just unlock the gun and then use the gun to unlock attachments. So I would like, because COD 4,
because they want to have microtransactions.
I know. Well, I mean, you can't even use those tokens. Like, they're not like COD points, because those are for the loot boxes.
Oh.
But the tokens are just for playing the game. But you could get that
weapon in a loot box.
It's just an extra hassle that you don't need to have, because you could just unlock the gun, and then it's like 25 kills and you get a red dot. That's cool, because you're like working to something. And then it's like, okay, we'll get 25 headshots and you get the digital camo, which is what Black Ops is doing now still. But then there's all these other crazy camos that you get in loot boxes. So it's like, is me unlocking this stuff like even worth it if there's going to be even cooler ones that are in loot boxes? But I still feel like it's like getting those camos and getting, I don't know, just certain things to unlock. Because the challenges was also something they ruined in World War II. Because they had the fucking stupidest or they had the headquarters. So you're running around in the map, and then you go up to the challenge guy, and it's like, you have 2 days to complete this challenge, and then you have a time limit. So you have this whole list of challenges that you, like 3 challenges that you have time limits on each of them, and you have to keep going back to like recycle all these challenges. But back in older Call of Duties, you just had a list of challenges, and you could see your bars on all of them. So you could like single one out and be like, okay, I'm going to do that one. You don't have a time limit. You don't have anything like that. It's not like stressful. But World War II was definitely like, you ranked up slow, so you really had to do the challenges to rank up.
Mm-hmm.
But at a certain point, I was like, I'm just going to fucking play the game and not even worry about these challenges because they're so stupid.
Yeah.
They're like, win 3 capture the flag matches today. And it's like, man, I don't even want to fucking play capture the flag. It's such the worst game type.
Yeah.
But that's also what's cool about Black Ops 4 is because the game modes are looking pretty sick. The heist game mode, have you seen that?
Huh.
It's like a Counter-Strike where it's like search and destroy, but the more kills you get, the more money you get.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy guns like in between rounds. So everybody starts off with pistols, and then you like get more money, and then you buy like an assault rifle or whatever you want. But there's health around the map, so you don't have health or ammo. You have to pick that shit up around the map, and you have to like extract a payload instead of like planting a bomb and search and destroy.
So it kind of sounds like Overwatch.
No, it's because it's still like search and destroy where you die. That's the end of the round, but you also don't get the money for that. So you can like, I can't remember if you die, you have to buy that gun again.
Mm-hmm.
But like you'll restart from ground zero, but you still have the same amount of money. So you still like if you die, you lose like $1,000, and that's crucial to like everybody building up their arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also that control where you have a certain amount of lives for your team while you capture 2 points or defend 2 points. That one was really fun in the beta. I had a lot of fun with that one.
I didn't even know they had. Excuse me. I didn't even know they.
I think we're both pretty tired right now.
I just.
Oh shit!
What was that?
That was Lady. I think we'll probably need to end it because I'm gonna have to let her in. She's been outside this whole time.
Well, what I was gonna say is like Call of Duty for me. It's just like it just comes out every year, and like I hardly have time to play it half the time. So I'm like, why am I gonna spend $60 on a game like Infinite Warfare? Fucking, we probably played that for like a month. I feel like, and then after that, I was like.
Well, because Infinite Warfare sucked ass.
I didn't think it was all that bad. I didn't think it was like terrible or nothing, but it was just like I was like, I don't have time to sit down. I never even finished Black Ops 3's campaign.
I didn't finish,
and I want to know what happens, but I
thought that was like I didn't finish it because I thought it was one of the worst ones.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not playing Inception right now. I don't want to do that, but that's what it was. I think it was a good move to remove campaign though, because then they spend a lot more resources on other stuff. Yeah. Like I'm sure I don't know if this is true, but I'm sure like they had like their campaign team just moved to like zombies or something like that. Because if you've seen the new zombies, I don't play zombies, but it's like pretty much a campaign right now with all the cutscenes that are in it and shit. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know how that works because it's like you get to a certain round and they're like, here's this cutscene. You can skip it if you want or something like that. I don't know.
Was it Infinite Warfare that was the last zombies game? I feel like the last time I played zombies with everybody, I was like, this is fucking weird.
World War II, there were zombies, but we were playing that because all the servers were down, remember?
Well, I never played World War II.
Yeah, you did. Yo, you did. Or did you buy it?
I never bought that game.
Are you sure?
I think
I feel like
I think I got like a play it for a couple days kind of thing or something.
I feel like it could have been...
I don't even remember how I was playing it. Was I playing?
There was one of the games where we were like, the servers are down.
That was not me. I don't think I played anything in World War II.
The servers are down, but we're like the only thing we can play are zombies.
I don't think I played.
That could have been like Black Ops 3 or something that we did that in. Because like we were like the one time we get on, the servers are off. So now we're just gonna play zombies because like the one time everybody's on.
I think I don't know. I just remember like I was playing it and we were in an amusement park or something. That had to have been Infinite Warfare.
I don't think so. I think it was Black Ops 3. I really do.
I don't know. Either way, it was fucking like. It was
zombies
weird.
is weird
And
now.
I was like, I don't know what's fucking going on. I'm like, what
It's like only the people who have stuck with zombies since World at War know what the fuck's going on. Because I played World at War and Black Ops 1 zombies, and those were like basic and easy to understand. The new ones are like, buy this perk for this, and then
you gotta
read shit
fucking...
while the rounds are still like declining, and you're like, I'm running out of time, and I'm still like reading a novel about what this perk does. I just didn't understand what's going on.
Yeah, like you gotta find the secret location and turn on the power, and then the power turns on this rocket, and the rocket blows up all the zombies.
But I can't even find the fucking power. I remember that's what happened. I still don't. I'm pretty sure it's Black Ops 3, dude. But
it might have been.
But we were like trying to find the power the whole goddamn time. But we're like on round 15, like holding off zombies, and we're like, we're still in this tiny room trying to find the fucking power.
I liked Ghosts zombie version of zombies.
Oh, the alien one, or what was it called? Invasion or something like that. Yeah, that was
fun.
I
beat it once.
I just didn't like Ghost. Ghost campaign was good.
Ghost 2 next year.
It's got the twister at the end. Ooh. I always like Call of Duty campaigns, except for Black Ops 3. That was trash.
I'm curious to know what happens at the end, because I think something comes up, but I just didn't have time.
Yeah. Something about the numbers.
The numbers. I've been inside his brain.
The numbers.
I don't know. I kind of want to play it just to see what happens, but I'm like, it means I gotta
do shit. I gotta play a game.
I gotta play it.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. And hopefully next week we can go see Halloween. We can get Radar.
Yeah.
We'll get Radar on there as our first guest. Hopefully next week. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Anyways.
If you can do it.
Thanks for listening, guys. And make sure you like that like button. And you smash that subscribe.
That's the new smash. I
like
hope
the
you
like button.
That like button.
You're about to press pause.
I really like it.
You gotta press the red button.
Oh, okay.
Gee whiz.
Right. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.